The story begins with Lily, a girl who adores her dog, Hagen. To her, he is her best friend, and she spends every day playing with him. But her routine changes when her mother leaves on a business trip, and Lily has to stay for 3 months with her father, Daniel, a serious, strict man who works as a supervisor at a slaughterhouse. After spending the day inspecting meat for consumption, Daniel finishes his shift, cleans everything up, and goes to see his daughter. There, he gets a surprise. Lily has arrived with Hagen. Daniel doesn't like dogs and makes it clear that he doesn't want to take responsibility for him. But his ex-wife has no one else to leave the dog with. So in the end, he has no choice but to accept it. With her mother gone, Lily tries to grow closer to her father, but he remains very strict. He even makes her spit out the chewing gum she's chewing. Then he takes her to the apartment, and as soon as they walk in, a neighbor approaches them and says that dogs must be registered in order to live in the building, and that a fee must be paid. Annoyed, Daniel replies that he'll get rid of the animal soon and quickly goes inside so no one else will see it. Inside the apartment, Daniel is cold toward Hagen and won't let Lily feed him. As punishment, he sends her to bed. In the bedroom, Daniel prepares a mattress for his daughter and asks her where she wants to sleep. Lily says she doesn't mind as long as it's with Hagen, but her father flatly refuses. Dogs don't sleep in beds. He pulls Hagen by the collar and locks him in the bathroom. The poor dog, not used to being alone, spends the whole night crying. When Lily hears him, she goes to the bathroom to keep him company. Her father tries to stop her, but she doesn't obey. She sits next to Hagen, plays her trumpet to calm him down, and spends the entire night with him. The next morning, the doorbell rings loudly. Daniel opens the door and finds an animal control inspector who says he received an anonymous complaint about an unregistered dog. Daniel tries to lie, claiming there is no dog in the apartment, but at that moment, Lily opens the bathroom door and Hagen runs toward the entrance. The inspector sees him and says the registration fee must be paid. Daniel refuses, insisting the dog belongs to his ex-wife and that they should send the bill to her. Since he won't pay, the inspector says he will take Hagen to the pound. Daniel replies that he'll handle it himself and slams the door in the inspector's face. Lily, who has heard everything, panics at the thought that her dog could end up in a shelter. She decides to run away with him and takes him to a hill to look at the scenery, as if she wants to escape the world together with her best friend. Later, Lily goes to her music class and, without anyone noticing, hides Hagen inside a closet. The teacher comes in and the orchestra begins to play, making so much noise that the dog's whimpering goes unnoticed. But when the music is about to end, Hagen curiously comes out of the closet and approaches the conductor. Seeing him, the man asks whose dog it is. Lily stands up and says it's hers, ready to leave with him. The teacher warns her that if she walks out the door, she won't be allowed to come back. Lily doesn't care and leaves, which results in her being expelled. On the way home, as she pushes her bicycle, Daniel finds her. Angry, he tells her he's been looking for her for hours and almost called the police. Once inside the car, he asks why she took Hagen to class, and Lily answers that she doesn't want him to be sent to the shelter. Daniel says he won't pay anything for the dog and that he no longer wants him in his apartment, even blaming Hagen for Lily running away. The girl begs again for him not to be taken to the pound, but her father makes a cruel decision. He stops the car in the middle of the road, takes Hagen out, and leaves him there. Lily, desperate, tries to get out, but Daniel forces her back into the car and drives off, leaving the dog behind. Hagen runs after the car as best he can, but he can't catch up. From inside, Lily watches him disappear, her heart completely broken. While her dog suffers alone in the streets, Lily waits for her father to fall asleep so she can go out to look for him. She gets up quietly and goes to the refrigerator to grab some food, but Daniel catches her before she can escape, ruining her plan. Meanwhile, Hagen wanders alone through the city, slowly getting used to the noise. the cars, and the people. After several hours, he starts to feel hungry, so he approaches a butcher shop, hoping to find something to eat. From there, he watches a butcher at work when he suddenly sees a white female dog pass by and decides to follow her. He follows her to the back of the shop, where he finds several other dogs. Noticing a stranger, the others begin to bark at him, and the noise alerts the butcher, who comes out angrily and chases them all away. Hagen, not understanding the danger, stays still and is almost caught. He runs and hides inside the butcher shop, but ends up cornered. Just when everything seems lost, the white dog returns, distracts the man, and allows Hagen to escape. They both run through the streets until they reach an empty lot filled with stray dogs. Even though he's surrounded by a large group, Hagen keeps his distance, watching from afar. But the calm doesn't last long. The next morning, shelter workers arrive and begin capturing the dogs, tying them up and putting them into cages. After catching many of them, two employees spot Hagen and the white dog and start chasing them. The dogs try to hide among the trash, but the men find them and continue the hunt. With help from people on the street, the workers follow Hagen's trail until they corner him in a dead end. Hagen stands still as they approach. Seeing how calm he is, one of them notices he's wearing a collar and doesn't seem aggressive, so he moves closer to pet him. At that moment, the other worker prepares to catch him with a snare. Just then, the white dog appears again and starts barking, distracting the men and giving Hagen the chance to escape. The chase continues through the city until a homeless man sees what's happening and decides to help. He hides Hagen under his blanket, and thanks to that, animal control loses his trail. At last, the dog is able to rest for a moment. When the men leave, the homeless man ties a rope around Hagen's neck and takes him away from the area. Meanwhile, Daniel takes Lily back to the music school and forces her to apologize. He also makes her lie, saying she no longer wants Hagen because he supposedly bit her father. The teacher asks if they took the dog to the shelter, and Lily replies that he ran away and that they'll probably never see him again. The teacher accepts her apology and gives her another chance to return to class. But Lily can't concentrate. She can't stop thinking about Hagen, so she decides to start looking for him on her own, putting up posters all over the city. After a long day, riding her bike in the rain, she goes to a party where some of her classmates are. At the entrance, Trixie asks if she's found her dog. At that moment, Peter appears and tells Trixie to leave her alone. He stays to talk with Lily, shows concern for her, and promises to help her put up more posters next time. That gesture makes Lily begin to feel something special for him. Elsewhere in the city, the homeless man takes Hagen to a restaurant and tries to sell him to the owner, claiming he's a strong dog who can defeat any other and asking for a large sum of money. The owner replies that he's just an ordinary dog and offers much less. Even so, he puts a leash on Hagen and locks him in the back of the place. A few days later, a man named Ivan appears, takes an interest in Hagen, and offers a large amount of money for him. After buying him, Ivan gives him a pill that makes him fall asleep almost instantly and takes him to an underground kennel. There, Ivan prepares a special mixture with the idea of making him stronger and enters him in illegal dog fights. From that moment on, Hagen is subjected to harsh and cruel training. Ivan tries to make Hagen more and more aggressive. He forces him to run non-stop, to endure blows, and even injects him with a substance that leaves him dizzy and weak, all with the goal of turning him into a fearsome fighting dog. Meanwhile, unaware of everything her pet is going through, Lily continues with her life. In music class, the teacher asks the students what the song they're practicing is about. When it's Lily's turn, she says that music is meant to express love and that there are people who can't understand it because they have no heart. The teacher gets angry at her answer, as punishment, dismisses everyone except her, forcing her to stay for hours practicing alone. After that, Lily decides to go to the shelter to look for Hagen. There, an employee asks how long the dog has been missing. When she learns that several weeks have already passed, she tells Lily that the dog is probably no longer alive and that she should stop looking for him. Furious, Lily accuses the staff of mistreating mixed-breed dogs and leaves the place completely frustrated. That same night, Ivan takes Hagen to an underground dog fight. His opponent is a massive Rottweiler, much bigger than him. Despite the difference in size, Hagen manages to hold his ground and ends up winning. His victory draws the attention of several men who want to buy him, but Ivan refuses. In the middle of the chaos, someone cuts the power to the place, freeing the dogs. Hagen takes advantage of the confusion and runs out into the streets, escaping on his own. Meanwhile, Lily approaches Peter and asks him to take her to a party, since only adults are allowed in. The boy pretends she is his girlfriend, so they can get in. At first, Lily feels excited, but once inside, Peter goes off with Trixie and spends the entire night with her. When Lily sees him even lend Trixie his coat to protect her from the cold, she feels terrible, becomes jealous, and starts drinking until she eventually passes out. The next morning, Lily wakes up with a police dog licking her face. She is taken to the police station, where she waits with an officer until her father arrives. Daniel speaks briefly with the officer and then takes his daughter home. On the way, he realizes he has been too hard on her and apologizes, telling her he doesn't want to lose her. Trying to make things right, he suggests going to the shelter to adopt another puppy, but Lily refuses, saying she doesn't want another dog. Daniel decides to change his attitude and even asks for time off work to spend with her. Although Lily tells him it's not necessary and promises to stop looking for Hagen. Meanwhile, Hagen returns to the empty lot and reunites with the white dog who helped him before. The two spend time together playing and trying to survive. But one day, when they go to the beach looking for food, they are captured by animal control and taken to the shelter. Upon arrival, an employee notices that Hagen has an injured paw and decides to take him to the clinic area. There, Hagen sees another animal being taken into a room from which it never returns, and he begins to fear that the same fate awaits him. He is then locked in a cage, where he spends several days without food, isolated, surviving only on water. One day, a group of people arrives at the shelter to adopt. A woman approaches Hagen's cage and tries to touch him. Because of all the abuse and harsh training he suffered under Ivan, the dog reacts aggressively and almost bites her. When the supervisor learns what happened, he decides to remove Hagen from the adoption program and orders him to be taken to the back of the shelter, making it clear that his situation has become even more dangerous. Just as they are about to lock Hagen in the back area, he manages to slip free from the leash. Instead of running away, he turns toward the employee and begins to growl. The man tries to intimidate him, but the situation spirals out of control and Hagen attacks him. The noise and chaos cause the other dogs in their cages to grow restless. Little by little, they begin to push and break free until the entire shelter is opened. Led by Hagen, a massive pack of dogs escapes and rushes through the city. Meanwhile, unaware of everything that is happening, Lily prepares for her big musical performance and arrives at the theater to rehearse with her classmates. At the same time, Hagen moves through the streets with hundreds of dogs. People begin to notice that the animals are loose and panic spreads. The dogs cross avenues, squares, and entire neighborhoods, causing total chaos until they finally reach the place where the concert is about to be held. When the crowd sees the dogs, panic erupts. Lily, recognizing Hagen among them, realizes that all of this is happening because of her. Without thinking twice, she grabs her trumpet and decides to go after him. Peter tries to stop her, warning her that it's dangerous, but when he sees how determined she is, he decides to go with her. They run downstairs, leave the theater, and Lily gets on her bicycle. She starts pedaling through the city, searching for her dog. Downtown, a group of dogs begins to follow her. Frightened, she pedals faster and faster until she loses control and falls to the ground. Even so, none of the dogs attack her. Lily gets back up and keeps going, determined to find Hagen. That same night, the owner of the restaurant where Hagen had been locked up is having dinner peacefully when the dog suddenly appears. Thinking Hagen has come back to be sold again, the man starts calling him, but Hagen only stares at him. Then other dogs begin to surround the place. Within seconds, the pack rushes in and the man is left cornered. Sometime later, Lily arrives at the restaurant and sees the place stained with blood. Shortly after, the police also arrive. An officer asks if she saw anything and tells her he will take her home. Worried, Lily asks what will happen to the dog. The officer replies that they will capture all of them the next morning. Not knowing what to do, Lily gets into the car. But when the officer is distracted by the radio, she slips out through the other door and runs off to keep searching for Hagen. The girl reaches the butcher shop and finds the butcher dead. The sight shocks her so badly that she feels sick. In the middle of everything, she hears a cell phone ringing and realizes it's in the man's pocket. She hangs up the call and then calls her father. She tells him that the police are going to capture all the dogs in the morning and that she needs to find Hagen before it's too late. Very worried, Daniel tells her she can't be out on the streets because there's a curfew and asks where she is. But Lily doesn't answer and hangs up. Suddenly, she hears a bark. It's the white dog. Lily follows her and, in the distance, sees the pack of dogs running through a tunnel. Several police cars block the way, and the police begin firing to stop the animals. Realizing that everyone is in danger, Hagen changes direction and leads the dogs out of the city. Elsewhere, Ivan is at home watching the news. Without noticing, the dogs begin to surround the place. When he tries to defend himself, it's already too late, and the dogs attack him. The white dog continues guiding Lily on her bicycle, bringing her closer and closer to Hagen. Suddenly, they crash into an animal control truck. When she sees it, Lily shouts for the white dog to hide, but she doesn't understand and keeps running. An employee aims his rifle and shoots her, injuring her leg. Then he fires again, leaving her lying on the ground. Not long after, back at the apartment building, the woman who had reported Hagen goes to look for Daniel. As she walks down the hallway, she hears a growl. Moments later, Lily arrives at the building looking for her father and finds the woman lying on the floor, which leaves her in shock. Not fully understanding what's happening, she breaks down in tears. On the ground, she sees her father's keys and thinks she might be able to find him at his workplace. Lily then goes to the slaughterhouse and starts looking for him. Finally, she finds Daniel on a balcony. When he sees her, he feels relieved and tells her to go to the main entrance, saying he'll open the door for her. But just as Lily walks away, Hagen and the other dogs appear in front of the entrance. Daniel panics, thinking his daughter is in danger. He grabs another access card and runs toward the exit, picking up whatever he can to try to defend her. Outside, Lily walks toward the place her father told her to go when suddenly she hears a bark behind her. When she turns around, she sees Hagen. She tries to talk to him, calling him by his name, but the dog doesn't seem to recognize her and starts moving forward. Frightened, Lily tries to distract him by throwing a stick, but it doesn't work. Hagen barks, and with that sound he calls the rest of the pack. Seeing so many dogs approaching, Lily runs toward the entrance of the slaughterhouse. Hearing the barking, Daniel tries to get outside, but for a moment the door won't open. Lily ends up cornered in front of Hagen, who watches her in confusion and begins to growl. She speaks to him calmly, asking what's wrong, trying to make him remember who she is. At that moment, Daniel manages to get out and tries to scare the dogs away. This only increases the tension. Desperate, Lily shouts at her father to stop. When she realizes he isn't listening, she grabs her trumpet and begins to play. Little by little, Hagen becomes still. The music seems to awaken something inside him. He recognizes Lily, he stops growling and lies down in front of her. One by one, the other dogs do the same. When they are all lying down, Lily lowers the trumpet and sits in front of Hagen, looking him in the eyes. Daniel carefully approaches and stays beside his daughter. At that moment, other slaughterhouse workers arrive and ask if they should call the police. Daniel tells them to wait. Father and daughter remain there together, calm. Slowly, the tension fades away. Hagen at last learns to trust again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you think about this movie.